Hey everybody, it's Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I hope you can see this okay. This is absolutely beautiful. It's one of my favorite things that I've made recently. I started on it yesterday and finished it up this morning. I've been wanting a place to keep all of my white and cream colored trim and fabric. I use on a regular basis flat pieces of cotton fabric to stamp birdsong on for my journals. I often come across other things like this fabric flower or this vintage tag that was on a piece that had been dry cleaned. I love safety pins. I think we all do. Recently I found these little paper tags. They're used for putting thread around. I bought those, just maybe 20 or 30 of those, and used some little bead charms that I had put up for journal embellishing and just marked out different sections of a fabric book to store my creams and whites in. So it has just got so many beautiful elements. There's my stamp on the front. This is an old receipt I found from 1871. It's from a dry goods store. I printed it on fabric and then just sewed it to the front. I really love that. I want to say I hope the lighting is okay. My regular setup is out in the workshop and it was about 31 degrees when I got up, so I decided just to work inside. So inside you can see it's again just more beautiful fabric. The very first section I made for myself is flat plain cotton. This does have some trim on it, but I'm always looking for pieces of cream and white fabric that I can stamp birdsong onto and use for my journals. That's kind of my trademark little tag there. So you can see just a lot of white flat pieces. Some of them have trim, like this cotton piece. I love this really thin, beautiful white cotton. It does still have some lace trim, and I will use that as well. Ooh, I love that rust spot also. Just really pretty pieces like this. And again, that's just more of the muslin and cotton, that type of thing. The next section is candle wicking, and my great aunt taught me how to candle wick when I was about 20 years old. We used to sit and do that in her old house. Anytime I see pieces with candle wicking, I try to pick them up, especially these old ones. This particular bunch has a lot of staining. This is really old stitches. I thought I had everything facing the same way. Some of this, like that, goes that way. It's a really pretty type of needlework, and you can see all the stains in this fabric. The next section is patterned and embroidered pieces, and you can see throughout here I do have a few pockets that I can tuck things into if I need to do that. You know, I may come across something like white feathers or some type of tulle or something like that. So these patterned pieces, it's really a mix, but I know what's in here. I organized it according to my thinking and how I use things. Some of these are embroidered, some have little printed designs, and you kind of get the gist here. I love this fabric. I actually incorporated some of that into the book. Oh, and there's another one of those receipts printed on cotton. I put this image in my Facebook group this morning. I try to share free images there on a regular basis. So this is embroidered and patterned pieces. Like I said, this fabric is just so delicate, but I do love that pattern work on there. I decided to include eyelet in this section. I don't use a lot of eyelet, but every once in a while I have a piece. The next section is doily pieces, and you can see the little card here. I love to use pencils sometimes. Another bead charm and a safety pin, and a couple of pockets if I need those. Well, that's one pocket on that page. And then here are a lot of doily pieces. Really pretty. Some of them are complete, and I might pull those out and use them to sit something on out in my workshop. I just love things like this. There's another one that's complete. Let's see, I recently purchased this. This is more like a tablecloth, and it's got some beautiful lace on that. And some embroidery work there. I think I actually have it turned inside out. Yeah, so that's better. Let's put that in. The next section is trim pieces, and I have a lot of lace. I still have things to add in here. Sometimes these are even tiny, tiny pieces of trim. And hem edges off of big tablecloths that I might want to use for journal ties, just that sort of thing. This section makes me happy. All sorts of trim. I love this satin cord. And here's another bead charm, another safety pin. We have satin, tulle, and gauze in this section. And there, of course, is a real gauzy piece. Lots of satin in here. Some is a bit decorated. Let's just flip this whole section over. I love this satin that is somewhat tea stained. And then in the pocket there's a lot of tulle. And then the last thing is canvas and burlap. And there are some really pretty pieces. I hope you can see okay. This thing is so chunky. It's exactly the way I want it to be. I love this piece that's got sequins. Some of this has some design on it or some embroidery, but for the most part it's things that are really loose weave and actual burlap, really heavy canvas, and then this is the back inside, and then we're completely to the back. This is just a thing of beauty that is going to be sitting either in the dining room or in the workshop, probably in the dining room because most of this gets sewn onto a journal or a page in one way or another. And it's just a really pretty piece. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Thank you to new subscribers. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome. Feel free to comment. I love the community here, so we're glad to have you. Bye for now.